In this video, I attempt the hardest thing I have ever tried to do in my life.
I'm struggling big time. Big time.
A 100-kilometer race through the mountains of northern Mexico with over 5 kilometers of vertical climbing. Now, for all of our non-metric system friends, that's 62 miles and over 3 miles of climbing. Real quick before we jump into today's adventure, this video is sponsored by our very own coffee company, Todo Coffee. Todo Coffee is freshly roasted, ethically sourced, and 100% Mexican coffee. Whether you're training for your first 5K, 50K, or maybe you are planning your big move to Mexico, Todo Coffee is the perfect source of energy for all of your adventures. Our coffee is available as a one-time purchase on Amazon, over at our website, todocoffee.com, as a monthly subscription, or we offer a coffee of the month club as part of our tour of Mexico, where you can get a new coffee delivered to your door every single month, or you can just grab one of those bags as a single purchase. Now, to the video. We are just outside of Saltillo, Mexico, a town and a state, I believe, of Coahuila that we have never been to. Kind of driving to the middle of nowhere so I can run a 100-kilometer race. We have made it to our home for the night. We'll be sleeping here tonight. I will be running in approximately, starting at, I don't know, it's 1 in the afternoon now, 1 p.m. in the afternoon. I'm starting at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we're gonna stay here overnight and then one more night before we go home. All we have to do today is get set up here, get situated. Then we're gonna go do packet pickup, get all my stuff, eat, lots of carbs, drink lots of water, and try and get some sleep. How's our place?
Wow, it's cozy. I know you're the one that's going to be running tomorrow, but it's a little warm. I turned on what I thought was a fan, but it's only a heater. So I have the camper nice and steamy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it going to be uncomfortable for you to sit here?
To take a nap all day? Maybe a little.
But
I need extra naps.
You are pregnant, so we'll give you a break.
Thanks.
Los esperamos en meta. Muchísimas felicidades porque ya todos ustedes son ganadores.
Cuídense mucho sobre todo, que tengan un excelente camino. Cuídense entre ustedes también, ¿ok? Aunque no se conozcan, aquí hacen amigos. Para arriba, vamos.
Here we go.
It's 4:30. I just saw Greg off at the start line, and I am going to rest in the car until the sun rises before I drive back to the camper, because I don't want to drive back by myself. So I packed a pillow, a blanket. I'm freezing my butt off. I can't imagine how it feels to be running. I've already checked on Greg like 6 times and he's been gone for 30 minutes. So, wow, I am so proud of him. I'm just sitting here thinking about how proud I am. He's gonna crush it. He has worked so hard for this, and man, I just can't wait to see him. I can't wait to see him. I think I'm going to see him around 37 kilometers, so it'll be just past 1/3 of his route for today. I'm hoping I can see him there, give him a little coconut water, a little encouragement, maybe some ice packs if I can find some somewhere, but what am I going to do all day? What am I supposed to do as the crewmate?
1 down, 99 to go. 3.6 in, feeling good, trying to go slow, trying to keep a nice steady pace. Running through a little pueblitito. Approaching my first aid station, just under 15 kilometers, 4.73, feeling good. That felt like a long downhill, but I know it wasn't compared to what's ahead. Well, actually what's ahead is a big climb and then a downhill. I got my refill of water, about to have a snack, just under 15 kilometers in. I think I've got a big climb ahead of me. I think about a 10-kilometer climb. Then there's another checkpoint, and then hopefully I'll see Hillary another 10 kilometers past that. So hopefully I'll see her in 20 kilometers, more or less. Just under 19 kilometers in, the sun is fully up. It's already decently sweaty. Almost halfway up this climb, I believe. For reference, down there is where I came from. "25 kilometers in, 25% of the way done. I would be lying if I said the last 10 kilometers weren't extremely hard. It's gonna be a long day. 35 kilometers in. I think 2 kilometers until the next aid station. And I think Hillary's gonna be somewhere down there. I'm really looking forward to that. I could use a little energy.
I am at kilometer 37, waiting to see Greg. It's been just over 4 hours. I'm actually really surprised that he's almost here already. This aid station is incredible. I mean, they're taking off people's packs, they're giving them Coke, they're pouring ice cold water on their heads. I feel like I got a little setup over here, but it's not near like this. So I'm so excited to see Greg. I feel like he's gonna be running down this long trail any minute.
Hi.
Hi. You got it. You're a third of the way there. You got it.
All right, back on the road. I got ice, a little drink, like a little shot of Coca-Cola, cold electrolytes, ice on my neck. Next checkpoint, 10 kilometers away.
I just sent Greg off at 37 kilometers. He didn't want any chips, so the good news for the pregnant person is I get the chips. I think Greg's biggest challenge today is gonna be the sun. The UV index right now is 11, which I didn't even know the UV index went past 10. And the sun just feels extremely strong. I think like all over the world off and on for maybe like the last month, there's been like excessive heat warnings and there's just like huge heat wave that's affecting different parts of the world. And here is no different. So that makes me feel nervous for him.
Got ice on top of my head. Feels great. Where am I?
Greg texted me and said he's struggling. He had made it about 1 mile, about 1.5 kilometers or so in about 45 minutes since I had seen him. So that is slow. And I think it worries me that he's doubting his progress because he's actually in the top, maybe the top third of the pack. So I told him just keep putting one foot in front of the other. No matter how slow it feels, he's making progress. But the good news is he's about 38, 39 kilometers in. The bad news is it's only 11 a.m. and I think it looks like it's gonna get hotter and the sun's gonna get more intense for maybe another 4 hours or so.
So I'm just walking through a rocky farm, a rock farm. It's the worst farm I've ever seen. Unless, of course, they do indeed grow rocks, then it's a pretty good farm. That's about how delirious I am.
So as I'm sitting here in the shade, I'm thinking of Greg in the complete sun, hoping for a cloud in the sky, hoping for maybe he'll head back into the mountains, because even though that would mean it's uphill, maybe it would mean there's a little bit of shade for him. I know he can do this. He's got a long way to go, and that makes me nervous. It makes me nervous that he's doubting himself, because I know he can do this, and he looked so strong at 37 kilometers. Other people didn't look so good. He's doing great. He is doing great, and I am so proud.
I was in fact not doing great. Between kilometer 37, where I saw Hillary, and kilometer 40, I just completely lost control of my body and of my mind. I don't know if it was the altitude we were at, about 7,000 meters above sea level. I don't know if it was the heat or the amount of climbing in the race, but I could, at this section of the race, I could barely make it like 20 to 30 steps without needing to take a break. I was literally take 20 steps, and that was like all I could muster, and then I'd sit down. Take 20 steps, and I would sit down. And that is something that I have never experienced in my life, never experienced in my training, and I didn't experience this in the Caballo Blanco 80-kilometer race in Chihuahua. So
I'm struggling big time. Big time.
Now, I wasn't hurt and I wasn't sick. And I know it's hard to tell in the video. I didn't film a lot around this section, but I know my body, and I knew that it just felt off. It just didn't feel right. Now, maybe it was my body that failed me during this time. Maybe it was my mind that was failing me. Maybe it was my training. I suspect it's a little bit of all three, but I felt at the time that it was the right decision, the safe decision, to drop out, turn around, and meet Hillary.
Made the tough decision to turn around. I don't know if it was a tough decision or an easy decision. A little bit of both. Just, I don't know how to explain it. It's not like I'm sick, like vomiting or stomach sick. I just don't feel, I don't know, just don't feel right. Obviously this is not what I wanted. I've run every day since December 10th. I've run pretty much 60 to 70 miles a week since then. So I feel like I put in the training. I don't know, something just doesn't feel right. It could be the heat, could be the altitude. I don't know. In turning around, I have to pass everybody that's still going up. And that just stings my ego and pride a little bit. But I don't know. I'm in the middle of a mountain in Mexico, and it's like the hottest, like record temperatures. So I'm just gonna forget about my pride and ego. And good news is everybody's super nice, like offering me water and food whenever they still have 7 kilometers until their next water spot. So everybody's super kind, super friendly, wishing everybody good luck, wishing everybody they feel better than I do today. Oh wow, I'm tripping, like seeing things. I'm not gonna get that euphoric sensation of crossing the finish line today. I will say this time, this race, compared to any other race I've done, I felt the most proud to be at the starting line because I feel like, I don't feel like, I know that I put in my best work of training for this, the best preparation. Obviously, there's something else I could have done, but I've never felt that proud to be at a starting line, so I guess we'll take that as today's win. Just met a guy named Abraham. Yeah, I think Abraham. Didn't have any food, didn't have much water. Luckily for Abraham, there's a gringo coming down the mountain. I feel like everybody's been so nice in offering mine, and he definitely seemed to need it, even though he was reluctant to take it. So there's even special moments to be had and appreciated, and when things don't go the way you want them to. That's the story I'm telling myself today. Tricky part is I still have to make it back in one piece, and going down is not really any easier than going up. I've almost busted it about 10 times. And with that beep of the watch, I've officially run a marathon. So, that's something. Not what I planned on, but that's something. My gosh, did you see that? It's a freaking dust tornado came across here. Hi.
You made it.
Oh yeah. Dr. Pepper.
Mama love, our while wheeling camping adventure is over.
Just like that. One of us ran a lot of kilometers yesterday and the other one sat on her rear.
I'm not sure who was who.
Wow.
Yesterday, one of the dogs took one of my shoes, so we're leaving with a little bit less pride and ego and one less shoe.
Yep, it's a big trip.
What happened? It's been a few weeks since the race. To be honest, it's still difficult to explain. I'm still not entirely sure, but I think it comes down to my training. This was 100 kilometers. I put in a ton of miles, a ton of kilometers, a ton of training in this, in preparation for this race. Was following a training program, running 60 plus miles a week. But the problem is this race was 1 at elevation and 2 had a ton of climbing, over 5 kilometers of climbing. Most of my training was done on flat ground in Puerto Escondido, in Mexico City, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. None of those are particularly hilly. So I think I underestimated the mountains. I knew what the terrain and the elevation would be like. I knew there was a lot of climbing. So I chalked that up to a little bit of stupidity, a little bit of lack of experience, maybe a little bit of arrogance in thinking that my training that just the pure miles that I was putting in would be enough, and that hiking up a mountain wouldn't be all that difficult. I learned a tough lesson, and I learned that I was wrong. But I think it's in failure that we have the best opportunity to learn and to grow. And that is exactly what I plan on doing. The next week or so, we will be publishing a life update video, if you will. The last video we published before this one was announcing that we are pregnant, and we want to fill you guys in a little bit on how that's going, where we're at, what's going on with our life, because Hillary's about halfway done with the pregnancy, or we're halfway there rather, until this baby's here, and life has changed a lot already. It's changing fast. It is probably the most exciting time of our life, and that's saying quite a bit. So we want to fill you in. So stay tuned for that video. It will be here in the next week or so. I suspect about a week after this video, we'll have a life update video coming for you.
There are speed limits, but like sometimes people are going maybe like 30 miles per hour, and then some people are going like 100 miles an hour, and people have zero patience. If you leave them, it's like being in line at OXXO. If you leave an old lady like an extra step, she's gonna take it. And I feel like that's like driving. Like, I am trying to be kind, and I realize that's not what you do. It's like the life lesson in this should be kind in life, except when driving in Mexico, and then don't be kind at all. Do not give anyone any space. Also, don't use turn signals, because that's a dead giveaway you're not from there. And also, if you want, just drive with your flashers on, because you never know. You never know. You might just be better off driving with flashers. There's a lot.
So that's how the trip's going so far.
Yep.